Hey guys, it's Sam here again. Thanks for tuning back in. This is a two-part series tutorial I'm showing you guys. So this is the second part. So if you haven't watched the first part, you can go and watch that. That one I was just showing you how to put together your actual centerpiece. And now I'm actually going to be showing you how I actually make it. So I use a software called Silhouette Cameo, sorry. So the Cameo is the cutter, the machine cutter I use to cut out all my images. So I don't actually cut them by hand, I cut them using a machine. But what's nice about Silhouette Cameo software is that you can actually download their software, here it is here, for free. So you will just click onto whichever one that you want and you download it. So you don't actually need the machine in order to download the software. So for those of you that are wanting to do printables and want to make your own kid's birthday party, but don't want to invest in so much money about you getting a Cameo cutter or anything like that, this is another way you can do it. So I think it's actually quite a cool software. So all you need to do is go to silhouetteamerica.com/software, and I will link in the description box below, and you can go there and you just pick whichever computer you have, Mac or Windows, and you hit download, and you're going to actually download it. Once you've downloaded, you will be brought to a screen that looks similar to this. Now yours might be a little bit differently because I've actually got the upgrade, which is the designer edition. On the top right here it says the designer edition, but you pretty much have all the same type of features. I've just got a little bit more extra. So, but you can definitely get past or get by on the basic studio edition. So what you're going to need is, let's go into here. This is how I would do it. We're in Google. You're going to pop in, let's say, Trolls Princess Poppy. Oops. Let's see what Princess Poppy clip art. Okay. And then we go under images. Now you would definitely want an image where the background is white because it will give you so many hassles if you do it in another color. So you're wanting to look for something that's in a white background. The other thing I would definitely recommend is something that, if you look at the bottom here, it tells you the, I think these are the pixels maybe? Yeah, they would be, of the actual image. Now that is pretty high, which means that it is going to be good quality when you actually blow it up. So that's particularly one that I would go for. Now this one here, you want anything that's over about 500, between 500 and 700. That will probably still be a bit too small. But you would just keep going until you find something that you like. The other option you can do is if you go into Etsy. For those of you that don't know what Etsy is, it's like an online store that does like all different printables, and yeah, it's it's pretty good. That's where I got my shop. So Trolls clip art. Let's see what comes up. And there we go. So if I was you, instead of going here and looking for it, if you do find it fantastic, if you don't, I would just go here and maybe purchase something. There's so many different ones that have. Now I'm in Australia, so you're going to see Australian dollars here, but you'll also be slightly different. So if you click onto these, let's go into this person's one. You want to make sure that they are really good quality downloads, and I would have a look at their feedback and see if they've got like a good star rating in that. But this one looks like it's pretty good. 10 PNGs, which is what you want, and there's 300 DPI. That is what you're looking for. So if you can't find any images that you want, this is a pretty good website to go on to actually download it. Anyhow, back to what we were doing. So once you have found your image, you're going to save it onto your hard drive or onto your computer. If you go onto the left hand side here, this is where your library is. Now you'll be brought to the top section over here. What I do is I've actually got all my software or all my clip art all in their categories. So all you need to do is to right click, new folder, and then you just pop in your name or the name of your actual one, and then all you're going to do is, if your images are sitting in your folder, all you need to do is just click onto your images, drag them across, and then you just drag them to over here, and it will actually transfer over into your library of your silhouette. So what we're going to do is we are going to do Princess Poppy. And there she is. Now this is a PNG file, and it is fairly small, but once you actually enlarge her, you'll see she's actually got really good, it's actually not that bad. It's not very, yeah, it's actually pretty good. I mean, you'll probably get a few others, like I'll do another example. There's him. Okay, so there he is there. Let's bring him down. You see how distorted that is. That's what you don't want, because that's how it's going to print out. So that ideally is not a good one. And this one here, I can't remember where. I think I might have got it from Google. I can't remember. Anyhow, there is your image. So what's going to happen is you're going to have it looking like this, okay? And that's only because this is the cutting mat that they use for your Cameo, and this is so that's what's going to come out automated, if I could say. And so, which is a 12 by 12. So you're going to have 12 by 12 sheet of paper and your 12 by 12 cutting mat. Now, most have a printer. Most people have a printer, and that's where you're going to print it out if you're not going to do any cutting. So to change that, you just need to go over here, or it says, if you highlight, it says the page setting window, and you're going to click the down button, and we are going to do no, sorry, that's the mat. Sorry, no, that's not, that's, yeah. Alright, we're going to go all the way down, and we want an A4 size paper, which is your standard, I believe, printer paper. We call it A4, I'm not too sure what you guys call it there, but that's the one we want. And you see how it's automatically changed it. Now that is what you will probably be working off, okay? Don't worry about anything else, just focus on your normal printer paper. Okay, then we're going to go into library, and we're going to double click onto it and bring in our image. We're then going to drag our image all the way to the size of the paper. Okay, and if you have a look on the right here, your size of your image is going to be 11 inches, 11.5 inches. So if you printed this out now and you did the exact same thing that I'll show you in the other video, you'll see that it will be 11 inches. So now if you go to the side here, you'll see that there is no background, which is what you want. Sometimes you won't have that. Sometimes you'll actually have an image that will look something like this, where it has a white background, okay? But regardless if it has a white background or doesn't, I would still recommend doing what I'm going to show you, because it would just make your life a little bit easier. So if you do have a background like this, you're doing the exact same thing as what I'm going to show you now. So once you have got the image to the size you wanted, we're actually now going to trace it. So in the top right hand corner here, where it's like a yellow and green box, you're going to click onto that, and we're going to select the trace area. So we're actually going to trace this whole image. So all you're doing is dragging it from the one corner to the other corner, and you'll see how it's now all highlighted in yellow. We are going to now do what's called a high pass filter. You're going to untick that, and your threshold, you're going to take that to, now I'm going to probably go to 100, and it's actually highlighted the whole image. Now you ideally want to make sure that the whole image is highlighted, but that doesn't mean it's going to go all the way to 100. It might go up to 70, 80, 90, whatever. The main thing is that you stay within the lines of the image and don't go past the image, don't go past the lines, but it is highlighted. So in this case, it's highlighted all the way to 100%. We're now going to trace and detach. So if you had a white background, all it's going to do is it's going to take the image and it's going to detach itself from the white of the background. So once we pull it, we drag it across, the image is obviously no background, but it never had a background anyhow, so this one's okay. But if you actually take your mouse and drag it, you see all these little dots? Those were all little dots that would, if you did cut it out, would be cut out. So you want to make sure that you delete those. And they are deleted. It's not a huge big thing because all you're doing is printing it out, but I like to make sure that my image is completely clear before I go ahead and print it out, because once I've printed, I then cut it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we want to actually cut out our image, but I'm also wanting a border around it so that I can have a bit of a guide to cut it more, more correctly. And this is what I would do if I was selling any printables. I would do this exact same thing. So all you would do is you would highlight your image. So all you're doing is pretty much just clicking onto the image. You're then going to go to the bottom here and you're going to go click onto the offset key, and there it is. Now with the offset key, this is pretty much just a guide to show my Cameo cutter that this is where it's going to cut. So if you printed this out right now, it's not going to actually print out in red. So we want to change the color to black. So all we're doing is gone on the top here and we've hit black, and there it is. So now you could keep it like this if you wanted to, but when I cut, I like to cut along dotted lines, and there is my dotted lines. And all we're going to do is highlight that, and we're going to change that to 2. So it's actually a lot more thicker, so when you print it out, you can see it. Okay, the next thing I like to do is to once again highlight it all, and at the bottom left here, we're going to group it together. So now it's actually staying together. But one thing I forgot to actually show you is, I just want to detach it. This image here, not that it makes a difference because you're obviously going to be printing this out on white cardstock anyhow, but I just want to show you that this here, fill, needs to be white. So I'll just go back to it and show you. So you see how it's got nothing there, but when we put it back, highlight it, and I want to fill it in, it's now got a, oh, there we go. So now it's got a white background. Now because you're going to be printing on white anyhow, this doesn't matter, but I still like to fill it in. Alright, and the main thing is that you need to, but you can change the color too if you wanted to. So if you wanted to give it like a pink background when you cut it out, that's how it's going to look, however you want to do it, but ideally you get the drift of what I'm trying to get at. Okay, so now I want to place it back. I'm going to highlight it, and I'll go up here and I want to center it so it's all in line, and then I want to group it again so that it doesn't move, and there it is. Okay, now once it's back in place, I just got to make sure that over here it's within the paper line, and over here it's within the paper line, and then I'm just going to print this out.